Rafael Alvarado has a very interesting definition on digital humanities. He said, instead of a definition, we have a genealogy, a network of family resemblances among provisional schools of thought, methodological interests, and preferred tools. A history of people who have chosen to call themselves digital humanists and who, in the process of trying to define the term, are creating that definition. So he says you can't define digital humanities. It's whilst you are trying to define digital humanities and you're actually doing it, that you define it. So what he says is digital humanities is a social category. It's not a definition, you can't get a definition. He says it's a social category. It's all about doing, it's about communicating with each other, it's about creating synergy, it's about influencing each other. That's what digital humanities is all about. So he says it's a social category. Matt Kirschenbaum, that's another person. He wrote a marvelous book, Mechanics it's called. Professor Matt Kirschenbaum from MITH in the US. He says it's a tactical convenience. And he points at the fact that digital humanities indeed fill this task of making it possible for people to talk about what they were doing, because humanities computing closed the doors because it was computing, and digital humanities opens the doors. It's humanities. People think they understand it. You know, policymakers say, "Oh yeah, digital humanities," and they give you money. So he says it's a tactical convenience. You know, it's just something we needed, and we did it well to change the name. And he explains it. He also says, and that's what he says, you know, at the moment when the academy and in general humanities are the object of massive and wrenching changes, cuts, you know, everything has to be cheaper and all that, digital humanities emerges as a rare vector for jiu-jitsu, simultaneously serving to position the humanities at the very forefront of certain value-laden agendas: entrepreneurship, openness and public engagement, future-oriented thinking, collaboration, interdisciplinarity, big data, industry tie-ins, and distance or distributed education, while at the same time allowing for various forms of interinstitutional mobility as new courses are mooted, new colleagues are hired, new resources are allotted, and old resources are reallocated. So that's why he says it's a tactical convenience. He just sees what happens in the States and says, you know, this digital humanities, this terminology created new departments and a new buzz, and people this funded, and new projects, and people who are hired, and you get, you know, centers all over the world. And that's true, actually. Melissa Terrace, that's my friend from UCL in London, she did, on the basis of information she got hold on 2 years ago, she did an infographic on what digital humanities is. An infographic, I don't know if you know the term, but actually that's another way of visualizing data. You take data and you make it graphical. You know, you make images out of it so people understand it. So there you go. She counted 114 centers for digital humanities in 24 countries around the world. So you're not alone. There are more of you out there. You see, South Africa is there, Australia is there, New Zealand, Brazil. It's all over the world. She also brought in all the information she got on funding, how many funding money was given to digital humanities. And let's see, National Endowment for the Humanities, I mentioned that, American funding body. They, between 2007 and 2011, they invested over $15 million in digital humanities. So you see, it's big business. In the UK, only almost $1 million, and so I don't know if Germany is there. Let's see. Germany is not there. The Andrew W. Mellon Foundation, that's another big funding opportunity in the US. They invested over $30 million in digital humanities. So there's almost $50 million only in the US. It's a big country, of course, but still, you know, just to illustrate that digital humanities sort of generate something. I'm also the editor-in-chief of LLC, the Journal of Digital Scholarship and the Humanities from Oxford University Press. And I saw, in my journal, I saw actually a raise of 25% in subscriptions over the last year. Only over the last year, 25% in subscriptions, where libraries and universities are prone to actually discontinue journals because they're too expensive. I get a raise of 25%. My submission rate was raised last year by 300%. I got 300% more submissions, more researchers wanted to publish in the journal I edit than the year before. So it's a booming industry. It's, you know, it's out there. It's doing a lot. So digital humanities is of the humanities. It is part of us. You know, it's of and for the humanities. It's innovative. It asks the same questions humanities always asked, but in a different way by using computational techniques. And if you use computational techniques and you meet with failure, that's one of the basic terms I was using today, you can start generating new meaning, you know, and try to understand why something failed. It's interdisciplinary. You're not, if you're in German literature, you don't have to stay in German literature. You can, you know, by doing all sorts of smart stuff. For instance, with JIS, you can cross the boundaries to geography, or you can go to archaeology, but still be in German literature, but use different techniques and do projects with people from other departments. It's multilingual. You don't have to stick to your language. You can talk to humanities with people all over the world, because it's about the same methods and it's about the same tools. It's interactive, it's self-critical, really important. In the definitions we saw about digital humanities, there was always a part we said digital humanities is also about the study of what we do, the study of the methodologies we use. We not only use the methodologies, we don't not only create them, but we study how we do it. It's self-critical. We assess ourselves to improve what we do. It's community building. It's certainly community building. You're not on your own. You're not like the scholar in the ivory tower or the student in the ivory tower. If you have a question about, you know, maybe you have to make a master's thesis or a bachelor's paper in a couple of months, or you're busy writing it, and you have a problem with text encoding, for instance, well, there's a text encoding list there. You can go there, you can ask questions, you can be in touch with people from all over the world who help you out. It's community building. Maybe on a conference or today, you meet them. Okay, that was sort of, before we move on to some demonstration of projects I do, that was sort of what I wanted to tell you about digital humanities, humanities computing, the early starts. I hope you enjoyed that and you heard some stuff you didn't know before, or maybe when you heard it all, it's refreshed. Are there any questions at the moment about that? Any things you're struggling with, or any ideas, or any suggestions? I apologize, my German is very passive. I read German and I wait a couple of minutes.
Aber wenn ich auf Deutsch fragen möchte, dann könnte ich auch helfen. But I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
You may.
Yeah. We talk about the history of digital humanities and also the future. And of course, I believe in the future of digital humanities. But often there are, or sometimes there are voices who see this from another point of view. And they are saying, digital humanities is not needed in future. We need digital humanities only as a temporal subject to bring these techniques and tools in the main subjects.
Right.
I don't think so. What is your opinion? Do you think we have a future for the next 20 years?
I think we do have a future, because digital humanities is not only about popularizing techniques or tools. Digital humanities is about methodology.
Yeah, exactly.
And methodology is, I mean, we've done research for 100 years following the same methodology. And because we're in a different world and we use different instruments, we need different methodology. And that's what digital humanities can bring to you. And different methodology can be that it's all about interdisciplinarity and community building and collaboration. For some scholars, especially the humanities, for some people it is revolutionary that they write a paper with 3 or 4 people. You know, you're not the professor anymore who writes a book on his or her own, because you have to you have to correlate with people. So there's a whole new methodology you can on offer actually. And I know digital humanities will migrate. It won't be digital humanities forever, just as humanities computing wasn't humanities computing forever. It will be, I don't know, in a couple of years maybe something else I can't think of will come into being. But we need a movement to embrace the fact that we live in a world at the moment, in the world of the semantic web, Web 3.0, and in a couple of years we will be in Web 4.0, and we need a means or a group to address that, so that we can still make a difference, and we can still do something for society. Having said that, I get a lot of questions actually from people who said, yeah, but what did digital humanities do for humanity or for the society at the moment? Well, and I always have a very good answer to that. Everyone knows the internet, the World Wide Web. I should say the World Wide Web, because the World Wide Web is something else than the internet. The World Wide Web is a service on the internet. Everyone knows the World Wide Web, right? We're all working with websites, and big companies are working with websites and all that. The underlying, you know that the underlying language, code language of the World Wide Web is XML, the extensible markup language. I think you've already heard of that. Well, XML was written or was edited by Marcus Burbage McQueen. Now, Marcus Burbage McQueen has a PhD in German philology. And Marcus Burbage McQueen is also the person who was the editor of the TEI encoding scheme. And he's very much a humanities person. It's because he understands text, he understands document structures, that he could write XML, which is now being used by the biggest financial companies to run their business, by the biggest banks. It's all XML. It's all, you know, XML is sort of a database, a structured encoding language to give meaning, to add structure and semantics to text, and numbers are also text. So there you go. If there wasn't humanities computing, or there wasn't humanities, XML wouldn't have been there, and the web wouldn't be at the state where it is now. And even the people who say XML is not the best way to run business on the web are people who come from a humanities background, because they understand that text and documents can't be put in structures. You have overlapping hierarchies, you have all sorts of beautiful things with text, because it's, you know, texts are products of the human mind. It's very much a humanities thing, and humanities are not, you know, it's not algorithm. There's always something wrong or something strange about humanities products. And these people now attack XML, and something else will come from it. But still, it's the humanities people who actually do all the work. So there you go. If somebody asks you, so what is humanities, digital humanities all about, and does it do any good, they have an answer. If, the whole internet, the whole world was actually running on inventions or structures done by digital humanists.